Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Number Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.
Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to the live session of Stocks Number Trading. My name is Dave, guys. My partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell. Okay, I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please secure.
Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome to Stocks Numbers Trading. My name is Ron. My partner is Dave. It is 5 a.m. Eastern, and it is Tuesday, June 24th. So thanks everyone for joining. And we're going to go till about just before 8 a.m. Eastern, and then I'm going to wrap it up, and then Dave is going to pick it up from there and go from 8 to 10 and walk you guys through Comex and a little bit of Wall Street. Okay, guys? So again, our hours are just a little bit different this week, and then we'll get back to regular scheduled programming. Once I fix up this room, it's almost done. Give me one more, 2 more days, and it's pretty much all done. So been working hard at it, and it's almost all done. So I got the acoustic boards on. We got soundproofing walls, and just a few more boards to put up on the wall for the acoustic boards, and then just the finishing touches up, and we're good to go. So welcome, guys. I hope everyone had a great day yesterday. The markets are wild, so I hope everyone can trade with proper risk management because a lot of things are developing in the Middle East, and we'll go from there. So welcome, guys. Let's get into it. Let's get started. So what we're going to do is right away get into Forex Factory. Busy day news-wise already starting in Europe over here, and then now, so we're going to get a majority of this news now. 8:30 a.m. It will be during Dave's session, but lots of news today. A lot coming out of Canada here. So we've got our CPI month over month, our median CPI, our trim CPI year over year, lots of common CPI, core CPI. The main thing is a lot of CPI. So that's inflation data coming out of Canada. And then we have at 9 a.m. in Europe, you got President Lagarde speaking. Lots of European news coming out at 9 a.m. 9:15, we have FOMC member Hammack speaks, and then Wall Street opens up at 9:30, and then 9:35 we have MPC member Ramsden speaking. 10 a.m. is when things get a little bit interesting today. So you have Governor Bailey speaking, and then most important is Fed Chair Powell. He's testifying today. So just clicking on it, we already went over this yesterday, but just briefly, he's due to testify at the semi-annual monetary policy report before the House Financial Services Committee in Washington, D.C. Okay, so he will be speaking today, and anytime he is speaking, if he does mention anything about tariffs, inflation, anything to do with monetary policy, labor numbers and things like that, it could affect the markets with whatever security you're trading, because it could be directly tied to the US dollar. So please be careful at this time at 10 a.m. When Mr. Powell is speaking here, okay? Then we have our US consumer confidence and our Richmond manufacturing index coming out. We have some British speakers, members speaking later this morning, and then we go into the end of the day of Wall Street, and then we go into after hours. Okay, so that's today's day. It's a busy day news-wise, and everything developing right now in the Middle East. Like right now, we got some news coming out at 4:30 a.m. IAEA's Grossi proposed to meet soon with Iran's former minister. We have news out here stating that there could be a possible ceasefire, but we'll see if both sides adhere to this, okay? So we'll see what happens with the markets today. It's going to be an interesting day, okay? And just looking at the charts, earnings-wise, we went over the entire week yesterday. No big names this week except for Micron. This morning, pre-market, we have Carnival Corporation, Cruise Line, and TD Synex. After hours today, BlackBerry, and that's mainly it today. So not much on earnings wise. Yahoo Finance real quick. Oil has dropped 7% as Iranian retaliation against U.S. spares energy supply. So you probably read in the news that Iran sent some missiles over in Qatar and Iraq at some U.S. bases. No one was injured, is what I'm reading, but that's what's going on. So crude dropped to $72 per barrel, while WTI, that's the U.S. sweet crude, also fell below $70 per barrel. Tesla was in the news yesterday. They launched their robotaxi launch event in Texas, and they were up 8 to 10% yesterday. I think this is going to directly compete with Uber because it basically does what Uber does, but you don't have to get in a car with a stranger. It's self-driven, the Tesla cars, and it's going to be much cheaper than an Uber. So I think they're going to directly compete with Uber and possibly take a little bit of their market share if this is a success. Time will tell. We'll see. But it's launching in Austin, Texas, and it's kind of like and then it will start to move all over the world if it is successful. So let's see what else we got going on here. Fed Reserve's Bowman. So remember, the Federal Reserve consists of multiple chairpersons. Powell is the main chairman, but there's other speakers. And Bowman says rate cut should be on the table in July. So they're already talking about it now, that finally we might see a rate cut in the U.S. And we'll see coming up in July at our next FOMC meeting. What else we got going on? Just going through this. World shares rally after Trump announces what appears to be a shaky Israeli-Iran ceasefire. So I'm reading multiple reports that Trump has said that there's a ceasefire, and then there's other Iranian figures saying that they didn't hear about a ceasefire. They have no idea what he's talking about, but I have no idea. I don't even know what to believe anymore, to tell you the truth. I'm trying my best to follow independent news because they don't have an agenda and they're not for either side. They're just trying to just give the news as honesty as possible. So I have no idea myself. Maybe you guys know a little bit more. Maybe you guys are hearing something. But we do have ceasefire talks, but I don't know if it's actually 100% because Iran, some figures are saying that they haven't received anything or know what they're talking about. But who knows, guys? Fed's Powell faces Congress as Trump rate pressure intensifies. So you probably can imagine Trump is pressuring Mr. Powell to lower these interest rates, and he hasn't lowered them yet. Okay, and then right now in the pre-market, we've got the E-mini S&P up almost 0.8%. Mini Dow is up 0.7%. Nasdaq is up 1% right now. E-mini Russell is up 1.16%, and you can see gold is down 1.6%, and also crude oil. So you can see how the market, the volume is shifting into the stock market. If there's a ceasefire in place, that's great for the stock market, and then gold and crude oil are going to take a little bit of a dip. But we'll see how everything develops, okay? And then, guys, our Discord. So we send out trade ideas over here. Yesterday was a successful day on indices. We had this double bottom, and we were looking for buys above on US 30 around 42,160, and just a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beautiful 5-minute bars. Pushing for about 150 pips right there. Also gold took some time to develop, but beautiful sell opportunity right here where we dropped down, and then we updated another setup when we hit 3,390 for sell, and that hit multiple pips going down if you left runners. Okay, guys, we'll be keeping an eye if we get some signals this morning. And we'll be continuing to watch on the charts, okay? And everyone on YouTube, there is a Telegram channel pinned at the top of the channel. If you guys want to join it, you're welcome to join it. And if you guys wouldn't mind liking the YouTube channel and subscribing if you're new here. And guys, we on our website, stocksavagechange.com, there's lots of information. If you want to sign up with us, you're welcome to. And there's a new blog on why traders might consider Austrian economics. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. We're going to do something different. Maybe YouTube has been off for a week, but I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing here. So we're going to start off with individual charts. We're going to do gold, we're going to do US oil, we're going to do Nasdaq, and we're going to do US 30. And what we're going to do is we're going to start, because now it's like 5, 6 a.m. Eastern, so the daily candle has had a lot of time to develop. So we're going to use our SST daily indicator to identify the highs and the lows of the day, and then through identifying some key zones in between, we can see how the volume is trading inside the daily range. And then if it starts to break out or makes a new high or low, then we can just look back and above or below our purple lines, and then we can see the structure from the past, and then we can maybe develop an area of support or resistance where it could possibly go, and we can also figure out our bigger zones. Okay, and we do have the news on the left side, so anytime we're getting developing news, it will be over here on the financial juice ticker. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining. Welcome everyone on Zoom. Thank you guys. Trevor, good morning. Bruce, welcome. Good morning. Akemi, welcome. Thanks guys. Trevor, yeah, you can bring your drum kit. It's gonna be all soundproof in here. You can jam in here, and no one will hear us upstairs, so it'll be great. Welcome, Red Clues. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Christoph, good morning, and welcome, guys, on YouTube. Tony, welcome. NK, welcome. Appreciate you. Unithi, welcome. Miko, welcome. Okay, guys, let's get started. So, I'm going to bang out some charts faster so that we can watch more securities. We'll add some alerts ourselves, and then we'll see how the markets are moving. All I ask from everyone on the call is just please trade with proper risk management, especially in today's markets. For the next few months, it's going to be extreme volatile. Okay, so just all you can do is trade with proper risk management. You and I cannot control the volatility in the markets, but what we can do is we can control our own risk. Okay, so just trade proper. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, and there's also going to be those ugly days. I've had them, Dave's had them, many of you guys have had those ugly days in the markets. You know, those are days to learn from, but they're not days to blow up accounts and things like that. It's days to learn maturity as a trader. It's days to learn how to take a break from the markets, walk away, go for a walk, come back at another time when you are at a better mental state than to just force trades, revenge trade, over leverage, and do silly things. Okay, I've said this for many years now. The financial markets are not a casino. Okay, you can treat it like a casino and you can gamble all you want, but you can also treat it with maturity and treat it like a business, and you could really compound your accounts if you do it properly. Okay, so let's get started with gold. So what we do here is, I can see I'm on the 5 minutes now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up our SST daily bar indicator, and it's right here. So it's showing me from the open, and it's showing me the highest point, it's showing me the lowest point, and showing me where the volume is right now. So just looking at today's daily candle, it looks like it's an aggressive bearish daily candle. So I can see where we opened and we made a high of the day right up here. So I'm placing a purple line at the high of the day, and it's at around approximately, I'm gonna round all the numbers, okay? So it's around 3,369. I can see we opened. There was just a brief moment where it made the high of the day, like right over here. You can see where it's 6 p.m. Eastern, where it opened. It just hit the high of the day, and then we had this big bearish bar on the 5 minutes continue to push down. So you can see now, you can see where our resistance is. You can see where there's some supply in the market, and you can see how strong the sellers are today. It could have been on the peace talks and the ceasefire, what's caused this daily candle to be this bearish. But it came all the way down, and that's our low of the day right now. What time did we hit the low of the day? You can see it's around 2:30 a.m. Eastern, and it was going into London market. So basically London was right over here where it opened, and this is kind of like it kind of bottomed out. So it's basically London's low is our daily low of gold. So we're going to identify with a purple line our low of the day, and we're bouncing off of the low of the day right now where it is coming up, but we still have this aggressive selling pressure volume that could easily come back down to the low of the day and break for a new low. Okay, and then now you see, guys, all I'm looking at is today's volume from when we opened and where we're at right now, and I can see lots of structure on these 5-minute candles. Number one, is there a trend that we can see where we can maybe draw a trend line? So I can start like a trend line from all the way up here, and you can see how we came down, it hit the trend line, back down. It came to the trend line, we broke, we diverged away from it. We came and we tapped the trend line again just prior to midnight. And it continued to diverge away. We might be coming back up later this morning and hit that trend line again, and it could possibly continue to descend down. This is a descending triangle, but it could also break, maybe impulsively break above it, come back and retest it, and we could be driving back up to where is structure in the market. So now let's identify maybe some critical zones in the market. Okay, so number one, where do we see some type of resistance? I see some right here where there was a zone right here. This area was a little bit of support right here, so I can just identify it with a green box right here. When it came down, when it opened, it came down, kind of went back up to about 50% of that bearish candle. So again, when I'm identifying 50% levels, I use my cut line. We'll use a red line, and you can see it came right up to about approximately 50% of that big bearish bar. It kind of, you see, tweezer top highs, and then it continued to push down and push a little lower. If I extend that zone back into here, I can see now multi-impulse moves came up, back down, multi-impulse move up and down, up and down. So this zone, in fact, with the volume below, this zone is a red zone, illustrating resistance or sellers are in the market. So let's get in the habit of stretching these zones once you identify them into the future, and you can kind of modify it yourself when you see like a body coming down right there. And I'm going to stretch this into the future. If we ever do come back up there, like if we break this longer trend line and we come up there, that could be resistance. However, it could flip, and then we flip this zone back to green, and we could be taking out the daily high and driving further to the upside. There's another zone like right over here that was established. This big drop, it came all the way down and it pivoted its way back up. So let's identify this zone of structure right here where there was a nice little pivot right there. I'll mark it with a green box, and you can see the market came down, caught a bottom, caught a pivot, and came right back up. So if we extend this into the future, now with the volume trading below it, retesting it and dropping further, we can identify it as another red zone in the market, and we stretch it into the future. And this is what we're trading at right now. So this is where London market opened up, it came back down, it came back up, came back down, higher low, back up a higher high with this London move, and then now it's rotating right back down. So we'll see if it will come back up and test the trend line and our area of resistance right here. Okay, and then we can start to also look what's going on over here. Was there a little bit of a pivot here so far since London? We can see when it broke down, it came back up, and it's holding this red line, continuing to push up. So we'll see if we come back down to this red line, maybe around 3,320. It will hold some support and we'll go back up. Then I can see that they're protecting the low of the day, and they could try and push it up. However, we could be continuing to push down. Maybe we need to find like a double bottom near the low of the day. Could be right over here. We've had London's bottom already established. We do have some support there. So what happens if it comes back down like right now, and we come back down and we bounce up. So we can consider, I know there's multi-bottoms in here. This could be a bottom, that could be a bottom. But if you just look at it as one position, it came down right there, it held, there's our neckline. So now we're coming back down. Maybe if it comes back down, that could be like the second bottom that could potentially take us back up to the neckline, the W pattern, and we're right at our trend line and at the where the sellers are waiting. So it could come back up there and it could retrace back down and get rejected, or we could break through here, and then maybe we'll see if we can close above with some volume. We can change the green zone. Maybe we come back down. Now it's support, and we could look for a buy and take us back up to there. Okay, so this is where our range where we're trading in right now, so we can also add some indicators if you guys like the EMA 9. We're below the EMA 9, this green line, and then our larger EMA 200 is all the way up here. Okay, so it is bearish still right now. We are still making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This is a lower high, but we have not made any new lower lows currently in the market. This is a higher low at the low of the day. So maybe we are building a little bit, but it is still technically, we do have 5-minute volume below the 9 EMA, and we're still below the trend line and the 200. So it is technically still bearish. Okay, so that's gold, and then we're just gonna move over, and what I'll do is I'll place an alert here at the red line. If it comes down, we'll get alerted. So I created an alert right here, and we'll continue to watch if it comes down. Let's do oil now a little quicker. Okay, so the way how I did that, I'm going to do all of our charts like that, but I'm going to move a little bit quicker now. Okay, I'm not going to explain everything, but this is oil right now. So what I see with oil is I see like a big double bottom. I see how it came down. There was a good pivot right there. Here's our big neckline, and then it came right back down. There's like a second bottom, again, right at this location, right here, around $64 and I would say 60 cents. But you can see it came right back up, like right there. Here around 4 a.m., it should have broke to the upside, but you can see rejection, rejection, rejection. The sellers are there, they pushed it down, but we haven't came all the way down testing here, so it is in a higher low, and it's kind of consolidating. So we'll see if oil can break out of around $67 is the big resistance up here, and then we drive a little further. However, if they do push it down, we could come back down and revisit these levels. Okay, so with oil, the overall move, you can see it's selling from all the way up here. It is selling. Let's add our daily indicator bar so we can see how it's been moving. So you can see we kind of opened up today right over here. They gapped it up 6 p.m. and since then they've been dropping it down. So when it opened, it basically made its high of the day. There's the wick around $67.70, and this was a big bearish candle, came all the way down, which hit the lowest point of the day, and there it is around 7:15 p.m. Eastern. So there's our low of the day, that wick when it hit right there, and then you can see that it's found some good support, and the buyers are pushing it right back up to where we are right now, but we still have this bearish head of volume that could definitely continue to come down this wick, or we see buyers continue to push it up. Now for kind of looking for some red and green zones so far in the market. If I'm looking for more touches, I'm going to look at this zone right here, and I'm going to stretch this into the future and make it red. Okay, I'm going to kind of see that as a fake out that came up and it went back down. The reason why I chose this area is because I can see it come in there and back down. I can see it did come back in the red box. That looks like a fake out, and then it came back down. And then look at the next attempt. It came in the red box and pushed it right back down. And then look at the next attempt. It came in the red box, a wick, a wick, and a wick, and continued to push down. Okay, so if we come back up here, we'll see if we can break through this. However, it could be a big red wall up here, and they're going to continue to push it down. Okay, is there an area of support that I can find right now? Maybe like right around here, that this area was resistance. If I continue to draw it across, and then I can see bullish volume closing above it. I can see when it comes back down, there was it where it broke, but look at where the volume closed. Again, above the zone. So this looks like maybe a green zone. And now what we can do is, again, stretch it into the future, and we can see there was a dip below it, but that kind of formed that second bottom down there, and then we came back up, came back down, and look at what it's still holding. It's still holding this green zone. So this is where the volume of oil is a little bit more consolidated in here. I don't think it's going to trade inside here all day today. It will eventually accumulate, sellers will accumulate and maybe try to break it back down, or buyers are slowly accumulating to break through here and test maybe the high of the day. We do have a pronounced double bottom, I would say, near the low of the day, like right around here. And then if you can see, if you stretch it into the future, we came back down. So they are protecting the low of the day, and we do have good support down there as well. Okay, so that is oil right now. Right now it's kind of consolidating in here. What we can do is we can add an alert. If we do trade back into this red zone, we'll get alerted for it, and then we can see what's going on the charts. I can also place an alert in this green zone if it gets down here. We can watch that. We've got the alert on gold right now. So I'm just gonna scroll over to gold in 1 second. And so gold gave me an alert at this red line. So let's see if it will break and come down to our green box. Maybe we could look for a possible bounce out of here, or we'll see maybe sellers try and take out this low of the day. Okay, so and then I'll get Nasdaq and US 30 done in just a moment. Okay. Maybe while gold is still consolidating down here, I have time to maybe get a Nasdaq done, so we can get all of our charts and please everybody here on the call. So we'll have gold, we'll have oil, we'll have Nasdaq, and we'll have US 30. So 4 charts to get started. Once we get comfortable with this style, then I can add other securities as well. Okay, so let's take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq looks like it's pretty bullish, making a high, a higher low, a new high. It came back down, it broke, but still respecting these highs, made a new higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, a higher high, maybe a new higher low, and we're not at the new higher high yet, so maybe we'll see it continue come down and trade into this volume right over here. Okay, so same thing with I'm on the 5 minutes. Let's add our daily bar indicator. We can see now it's a different story with Nasdaq. Gold and oil basically opened bearish ignited and pushed down. Look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq opened right here. And what type of daily candle do we have? We have a bullish ignited candle. Like if this was a 5-minute candle, this is a very strong bullish candle. And you can see right there when it opened at 1800, which is 6 p.m. Eastern, and it was a really bullish open, and it continued to drive. You know, when I'm looking at about 50% of that 6 p.m. 5-minute candle, we have came nowhere close to retracing back into about 50% of that. It's continued to move. Like our lowest point is kind of like that wick in this structure right here that we can take a look at. So just going over at this daily bar indicator, opened very bullish. Maybe it was had to do with that ceasefire news in the Middle East. That could have been very, very positive for the markets. And it was really bullish where it came, and we hit the high of the day right there on that, exactly at 3:05 a.m. Eastern. That's 5 minutes into London. So our high of the day on Nasdaq is basically London's high. Okay. You can even, if you want to make your charts a little bit more fancy, you can right click on this purple line and go under settings and put some text in there and write like London high, or you can even be more specific and put 3:05 a.m. Eastern. That was the highest point. And since it hit there, you can see there is a little bit of selling pressure. That's what's creating this wick on the daily candle, and our volume is right here right now. Okay. Now we do have structure in between our opening price and our highest price. It is actually, our opening is our low of the day, but it is a bullish ignited powerful candle. Okay, so do we have maybe a couple zones that we can maybe identify out of this structure? I would identify this one 100%, like right around here. and stretch that into the future. Reason being is I can see when we pulled back, volume closed above here. We came, we retested it. There was a break where it impulsively broke, but the volume still held above. You can still see how we continued to push for a new high, came back to the green zone, consolidate, back up, came back down to the green zone and started that big move right where we hit the high of the day. So you can see we still have not retraced back down to the green box. And when you're looking about 50% of today's daily volume, that's right around 50%, that nice little pocket in there. We have another zone that's already being created that's protecting this green zone. It's kind of right around here. Okay, so you can see that we still got to come down and test this before we can go down to here. So what I'll do is I'll place an alert right around here. If we do come back down here on Nasdaq, we will get alerted and we'll see if we can maybe come down, back down to here. Maybe we'll look for buys off of this to take us back to that high of the day and break for a new high, or it might possibly break this, retest this, and then we're coming back down to test this green zone. And if we break today and come lower, I would also identify 50% of that bullish candle right there to see if they do protect that ignited open if it ever does retrace back down to there. Okay, so that's Nasdaq. We are still continuing to push up right now. If you look at the overall kind of trend, like right over here, see we're in this bullish parallel channel. You know, you can go maybe like right around there, so you can get more touches right there and there. So we're still in this bullish channel moving up. If you want to change it, like from when we're going up, you can certainly change it from red to green to show a bullish parallel channel if you want to do that. Okay, so let's just go back now and let's just check out gold. So gold is still right at this red line right now, and US oil is still kind of consolidating in between here. You know, we'll let it maybe consolidate, maybe it will make a move to come up here, or it will come back down and test our green zone. Nasdaq we just finished. Okay, so we're gonna see maybe will it make its attempt. If it gets that dotted line on this parallel channel, it's lined up with the high of the day. So we'll see if we can get a break for a new high of the day. And then simply what we do is if we break for a new high of the day, we can definitely look where it could possibly go by looking at the left. So if I go left from the purple line, go all the way to the left. Okay, I don't have anything on the 5 minutes. You see there's no candles above this purple line on the 5 minutes. So then I go to my next one, 15 minutes. I see that there's no volume above the purple line on the 15. I got to go to the 30 minutes. I see nothing. I got to go to the the hourly. And there's the first time I can see volume trading above the purple line. So I can see structure. There was resistance. There's a double top up there at 22,250. And there is like a head and shoulder pattern. And this is, in fact, the all-time high of Nasdaq. If you go to the monthly chart and you look at this, look at how it's trading on the monthly. Look at this. Okay, so you can see Nasdaq is 100 pips away from breaking the all-time high. Okay, the last time we came up here and created that all-time high was February of 2025. So it was February of this year. That's when we came there. Look how close we are on this monthly candle to breaking our all-time high. So if we have ceasefire news and peace agreements in the Middle East, I could definitely see we could break for a new all-time high and Nasdaq will keep running. Okay, then we got to do some price discovery up there. Okay, so we'll revisit that if we do get a break of this purple line. Okay, so we got some news right now, coming out right now, 5 minutes ago. So Iran's military command spokesperson, Israel struck Iran up until 9 a.m. local time from Iranian state TV. Okay, so we got some news. Okay, so that is our Nasdaq. Let's just go back. Okay, so gold is still just consolidating right here. Oil, okay, it's trying to build a little bit here. Again, it's in this, it's just barcoding. We'll leave oil. Nasdaq is making a move, okay. So I just want to identify this neckline right here, just to show you that, like, what a double bottom is. Kind of came down, bottomed out. There's the big neckline. You can see the big bearish candle that printed there. It came back down. It didn't come back into our green zone. A little higher. Okay, it's respecting kind of the trend line. So it is like a higher low. There we just closed above it. So you can see it's kind of like a W pattern. We just closed above. And now if it comes back down to this red line, it could respect it and continue to push up and trade into this these bodies of volume and maybe to that high of the day. Okay. So let's just see if maybe we pull back, kind of retest this, maybe if it will hold. But right now you are breaking. We do have a physical body candle that did close above here, and now it could use this red line as resistance support to continue to push higher. Okay. Now let's just finish up our fourth chart, US 30. Okay, so this is Dow Jones. It's very similar to the way how it's moving, like Nasdaq. Continue to make these highs. Pullbacks are all higher lows, new higher highs, new higher lows, new higher highs. Okay. So what we do is, again, I'm on the 5 minutes. Let's grab our daily bar indicator. Okay, so Nasdaq, you saw, was a bullish ignited open. You can see with US 30, it opened right there. There's a little bit of a wick at 42,575, and there it is. 6 p.m. we opened, and there was a little bit of a pullback, but then it still pushed up. Okay, so when we identify the opening price, we have it right there. There's our low of the day, and since then it has been really bullish. You can see the daily bullish volume filling all the way up. We hit the high of the day right there on that wick, and it's the same time, 3:05, 5 minutes into the London market open, right there, and it's pushed down. But you can see how it kind of pivoted right here, a wick, a wick, a wick, a wick, and then this is where there was resistance. That body right there at 1:30 a.m. Eastern closed above and turned this into support. So a very easy area to maybe place a zone is right here. Okay, you can see how it was resistance when it came in there and it pushed back down. You can see that candle right there closed above it. That's where you can flip it green. And then when it's green, you can see how we came in it, back up, came in it, back up, kind of double bottomed itself, where it came down, back up, down, and then there it took off. Right here, you do have maybe an area of resistance that you can identify. Maybe right here with like a red line. Let's do that right there. Okay, so you can see how it was support right here. It came down. Look at what it retested. The red line, couple impulse breaks back down, and then there we physically just closed above it right now at 525, and now we're moving into 530. It does have some bullish bars, but we're trading into 50% of this bearish candle right here. Again, where could be our next kind of point of interest? Right around here. Because you can see when it dipped down, it broke, but there's a body there, a body there, a body there, a wick there. There was an impulse break, impulse closing of volume right at that red line. That's where that bearish ignited candle started, right at that red line. So we have a lot of resistance at 42,955, I would say, at this red line. So maybe it will come and fill in here and then come back down. And that's where they could be kind of protecting the high of the day and maybe push it back down. Okay, so with all these zones, stretch them into the future, and we'll see how everything kind of develops in the next little bit. Here's another zone that another point of interest that I would be watching as well. Right there when it came up, it pushed back down. You can see how it held, it held, it held. There was some minor breaks. Again, if you wait for bodies to close, you can see that they closed above the red line. It came back, retested the red line, retested the red line, retested the red line. So if we break this green zone later today, we could definitely come down to retest the red line and look at the psychological number beside it. 42,750. Okay, so it's a beautiful zone. It's a nice point of interest, and it's got a nice whole psychological number. So that's a lot of confluence there. Okay, we can add some indicators. 9 EMA, we are above it, and we're above the 200 on the Dow. With I didn't add my indicators here with Nasdaq. There's the 9, we are above it, and there's the 200. With US oil, we can add the 9, we are currently above it, and the 200 is right here at the high of the day. Okay, so we're just watching gold right now. Okay, any questions, guys? Is there any questions? So I'll just be kind of flip-flopping from these securities. We've got some alerts at key levels on some of them. So if we get alerted, we'll bounce back. What I could be looking for now, like on Nasdaq, is maybe a pullback buy, maybe at this red line. If it pulls back, maybe I'll buy it. Because it hasn't really retested, came back to retest this red line yet. So maybe I'll just patiently wait for it, maybe to come back down. Very similar to US 30 as well. Okay, and then this way we can kind of open up our charts a little bit more. We can really watch what's going on. I can always scroll back and look in the past and see other structure. What security are you guys trading right now? Jonathan, you're welcome, Jonathan. No problem. I switched it up, guys, so that we can get more charts, because with the Financial Juice news, and then where we did like kind of 3 charts with the template, it was very, very kind of skinny and we couldn't really see too much. It's good if you do 1 chart or 2 charts, but when you're doing 3 or 4 securities, those little templates are very, very hard to see. So that's why now we have individual charts for all of our securities. I've highlighted key areas with alerts, like right here on oil. If it does come back up to this red zone, we'll get alerted. Like for example, if we're on the Nasdaq chart, we'll get an alert. We can come and watch what oil is doing up here. So that's what we are doing right now. We can put some key alerts. Like if Nasdaq rotates back down to this red line, I'm going to add an alert, and then I'll be alerted at this support area, and we'll see if it holds. Okay, and then same with US 30. I can add an alert back here at this red line. I can add an alert also in the bigger green box right in here. That might be a nice area to maybe have a pending order waiting in there, because you can see it came in the green box and went back up. Came in the green box and then it went back up. Came finally again in the green box and then started this move that we got going on right now. Okay. Trev, you're not in anything right now? It's slow? Yeah, it's slow, but things will start to open up. As soon as we start to see more news coming in here. So we do have some news coming out of Europe right now. UK faces downside growth risks, upside inflation risk. What else we got going on here? And guys, we're gonna have 5 hours of sessions today, consecutive. So this session is from 5 till about just before 8, and then Dave will be jumping in with you guys on Zoom from 8 to 10. So it'll be like 5 hours straight with SST, plus the trade ideas and signals that are getting sent out. Okay. Jonathan, the time frame, all of them are on the 5 minutes right now. All charts are on the 5 minutes right now. Okay, so you see this little, like what we're watching right now, like from 4 a.m. We're in this little kind of parallel channel right now. Just this little one, like right in here. Okay, we're in this little, where it's coming up, it's going back down, it's coming back, it's going back down, We could be trying to maybe get back up to here, but they could definitely, you know, push it one more time, and maybe to this like low of the day. Maybe it could be a good opportunity to maybe look for a buy inside there around 3,315 on gold, if this in fact holds, because they could also break it and push it down. So if they do break today's low of the day on gold, let's follow our purple line. Let's just go backwards. There's the purple line. That's, I know it's today's low of the day on gold. Then I can see when there was 5-minute volume trading below that purple line. I can look on the date, June 6, June 9, June 9 all in here, and then June 9. So can we see maybe where, if it dips today, where it could go down to? Is there anywhere where we could place like a line? Maybe like right around here. Because I can see it held as support there, a lot of consolidation right there. I can see those two wicks right at that red line. And then I can see it was kind of like resistance at this double bottom right over here, where it came down, back up. That red line was resistance, came back down, double bottom, and then you can see we kind of closed above it, and then we pushed right up there. So that could be a point of interest. If gold breaks its low of the day, 3,315, we come down to approximately 3,310 or 11 and find some support. And then this is where this double bottom was created, like right over here. You can see that would be where you maybe place a zone, okay? And then the zone is right around 3,002.03. So then I know that they're protecting that psychological 3,000. So then what you do is then, again, you stretch all this into the future where we are trading currently right now. So then you see how I just found some levels below me right now. So if it breaks that low of the day, what I was just saying, there's that red line at 3,310. We saw how it was in the past, June 9, June 6. And then there's that bigger green zone that we saw with that same structure, okay? So this is how you can prepare yourself for moves. And then you can place an alert at that red line. If it does come down there, I can place an alert. And that doesn't mean that when it comes down there, I just take the trade blindly, because, but what it's telling me is that's a key critical level where the market came down there and it found some support and went back up. Okay, so gold is holding right now. So we're kind of holding this red line. It came down, back up, came down, nice hammer candle. We came all the way back up. Now they're pushing it all the way right back down. So we're still in this channel, but let's see now, again, maybe it comes back down. Oil is, it's slowly moving up, trying to get back up here, but they could easily slam it back down. And then Nasdaq is coming back down to maybe retest right there. Our red line, we'll get an alert if it hits our red line, and also our 9 EMA is right there as well, okay? And probably US 30 is doing very, very similar, coming back down to the red line, and our 9 EMA is there too, okay? UK inflation appears to be leveling off rather than peaking. That's good news. That's good. Nobody wants inflation. With inflation, our money just gets depreciated. Inflation is like another hidden tax, and it costs you and I. So inflation is good if we can get it down, if we can level it off. Okay, and gold is coming right back down to that red line, okay? So you can see how today, like right now, it's more for like scalping range, okay? So measure your moves, like from the red line, just how high we came, it's about 25 to 30 pips. And if you don't do anything, like if you bought any one of these nice bullish candles and you got up 25, 30 pips, you see how it's coming right back down, okay? So we're trading in a very, very tight range. Markets are slow right now. We got our alert on US 30 right now. So US 30 has came down to our red line now, right at that 9 EMA. So let's see maybe if we can get a little bit of support here. Will we see a wick? Will we see buyers push it back up? Or will this body close below the red line and maybe push down a little further and it's going to close in 1 minute and 45 seconds. Okay, so let's just watch the close of this. Again, and looking at the range, like just these 3 bars, if you took a trade on US 30, like if you're scalping, roughly 30 pips on US 32. So if you got in on a buy, you know, that's maybe how we got to trade this morning until we get more market movement, because these look like smaller moves for approximately 20 to 30 pips. Okay, so Nasdaq is alerting us as well at our red line right here. So Nasdaq, again, measured Nasdaq as well. So had a nice little move to the upside, roughly approximately 20 pips for Nasdaq. Okay, but now we got 60 seconds to go into the close of this candle. Will it close below the red line? Will it come back up? If it closes below the red line, then the red line is in fact going to be momentarily resistance. It could come back up and retest it and get a wick and push right back down. Okay, so you can see right now it is pushing below it. Okay, so it's going to close in about 30 seconds. US 30 is also doing very similar, breaking. Oil is still just consolidating, and gold is just kind of consolidating right at this red line too. So let's just watch Nasdaq and US 30 right now. Here's the close. Okay, so we're below the 90 EMA and we're below that red line. So this is resistance. Right now you see the candle opening blue. There's barely any wick. So we close right near the low. So this could definitely continue to push down a little further. I want to see kind of where the neckline will form maybe, because this is what we got going on. We got this nice strong move to the upside. We're coming back down. Can they get it like kind of maybe right back above there, and maybe it will hold this and then we push back up? But if it retests this, we could be definitely continuing to push back down in here. Okay, so I'm just waiting on this candle to maybe see if it will come back and retest this. If not, it might push down, and then maybe I want to continue to buy with this bullish daily candle, you know, trade with the trend. So maybe if it does continue to push down and sell down into maybe the trend line right here, I could maybe look for a buy off of that. Okay, if I want to continue to trade with the bullish trend, because if I start kind of selling, I'm counter trading. So maybe I'll wait for more to see if this move can finish off right here, and maybe the buyers want to take it back up. So also with US 32, there's a lot of support right around here in the market. Okay, and oil unfortunately is not moving right now. It's just stuck inside here. And gold, okay, so it's now gold might be breaking again, similar with gold. If it closes below this red line that has been acting as support for quite some time here, over here. Now it might close below, and then that red line right there, that 3,320 might be resistance, and we continue to push down, and a better buy area might be at the lowest point of the day or inside this green zone, where it did come in here when London market, pre-London, and also when London market opened up. So now gold is coming down. Okay, so remember, maybe it's better that we sell with gold, the huge bearish candle, but this could be a point where kind of it builds and comes back up at the low point of the day, or it could just break and we're dropping right down to that red line. We already have an alert there, and then that's that bigger green zone on gold. Okay. Okay, so Nasdaq is continuing to push down. We'll see if it can get to this trend line down in here. Same with US 30. Okay, so gold is interesting. Let's see gold. It broke that red line right now. 2 minutes to go. We're going to go into 6 a.m. in about 7 minutes. 6 a.m. is a significant time in the markets because it's typically pre-New York. It's when a lot of brokers allow you to trade equities and the stock market in the pre-markets is 6 a.m. Some allow you a little earlier, 4 a.m., but it's more traditional 6 a.m. Eastern. Most brokerage accounts allow for pre-market stock trading, so that's at 6 a.m. So I know I'm on gold, but I'm just saying that for maybe Nasdaq or US 30 for the stock equities. Okay, so maybe we'll get our opportunity down here. You're looking at RSI. RSI could come down, back down to that 30. You can see where it was deep in the red down here, where it's down to 15 on the RSI, was right over here at the low of the day. Okay, so we're coming right back down in there. What I want to see is if that second leg will build. Like you see, we came down. There's the neckline. We're coming back down. We'll come back down in here and start that double bottom, right? But we have to be very careful because look at the daily candle on gold. It's a very, 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 look at it. Look how, oh my God, look how big it is. Like that's a big daily candle pushing down, okay? So we'll see, will it form a bottom down there? Here's the close in 10 seconds. So remember what I said, keep an eye if it closes below that red line. That red line will be momentarily resistance to push it down further. Okay, so it did close below. So this red line is now resistance. If it comes up bullish, maybe the sellers are there to push it back down. If we can kind of recover down here and come back and close above that red line, then that might be the start of building the second leg, and it could start to move up bullish. Okay, so we're keeping an eye on that. Oil is just stuck right inside there. Nasdaq might be giving us an opportunity maybe to look for like a pullback buy and ride this daily volume up. Okay, is it going to consolidate here a little bit? But again, what I was just saying, if we're looking for a trade on Nasdaq or US 30, we're 5 minutes away from 6 a.m. and it's the pre-New York session. So maybe, there could be fake outs and things like that. So I'm going to personally hold off for the next 4 minutes and let 6 a.m. open up, because sometimes, they'll set you up to look for a nice buy. You take a buy and then they drop it down even further. So it's all about patience too. So I'm just gonna stick to some principal rules and just wait till they open 6 a.m. with that new hourly candle. I know I might miss out on a nice little scalp, but I could also get in a little early and make a mistake. So when in doubt, wait it out, okay? That's how you should go about trading. Just when in doubt, if you know you're like 2 minutes away from an hourly candle and you still see a good setup, maybe just stay away or use a small feeler trade, test out the market until that new hourly candle does open up and in fact give you a little bit more confirmations. So look at the retest, okay? So we're also here to educate as well. You see how that was holding as support, that red line? As soon as that bearish candle closed below, that red line turned into resistance. So you see how this bullish candle came right up to that red line and then it got rejected back down. So that's illustrating that that red line at 3,320 is still in fact resistance, okay? And then now we got a bearish shooting star candle pushing down. So kind of trap those buyers buying that right now. I know it's not a significant trap, like it's only 10, 15, 20 pips, but still just to show you, maybe the better buy opportunity is in the green box. Like if we're waiting to buy in the green box, we're saving ourselves 20, 30, maybe even 40 pips of drawdown when we could maybe buy in the green box or near the low of the day. Okay, and just right now, like going into 6 a.m. on gold, right here, that was kind of holding support, and now we're kind of resistance. So this little zone right here is still resistance. Okay, we got 1 more minute to go. Oil doing nothing. Nasdaq is okay, so we found a wick right at our upper trend line. We'll see 6 a.m. Maybe 6 a.m. could change momentum to the upside. Okay, and same with US 30, kind of consolidating right in here as well. We could look for a continued move to the upside. Okay, so let's kind of watch Nasdaq right now with 40 seconds to go. The suspense. 17 seconds to go. Here we go. Okay, and it's 6 a.m. New hourly candle, open bearish, ignited below that green trend line. So in fact, it could push down. Yep, there's the push down. Okay, let's see if it picks up a wick and comes back up. Okay, so it's got its wick. Remember how it opened? It's kind of bearish, ignited, pushing down. So it's a hanging man candle. Will it flip and turn blue? And then it looked like it opened at 6 a.m., broke that trend line, but maybe it could recover and come back within its trend here and reclaim this green line and maybe continue to move to the upside. However, this could continue to push. Okay, there's the candle flip. Yep, I'm gonna buy this now, the hammer. Okay, so I'm going in a buy. They broke it down, came down. So I'm in a buy on Nasdaq. I'm gonna give my stop loss below this green box, below the red line, like right in there. I'm giving it a bigger stop loss because I'm looking for a bigger move to the upside, maybe to come back to the high of the day up here. Okay, so I'm in a Nasdaq buy. I'm going to test this out. I want to continue to buy with this bullish volume on the daily candle. I kind of don't want to counter trade it by selling down, but I understand it could definitely come back down and test the green zone right here. But if I can kind of move up, maybe back up to here, about 20 pips or 25 or 30 pips, then my stop loss, I'm going to start to reduce it. But ultimately, I want to see maybe if Nasdaq can continue to move up to maybe that high of the day. So I'm in a buy. A gold is pushing. Okay, so we'll check out gold as well. Okay, yeah, gold, nice bullish ignited candle, but we're testing back this red box. So it could come in here and get pushed down. I'm going to wait to see if gold can kind of close above the red zone and build off of this to look for a buy, because it is still an established red zone right here. Okay, so I'm in the Nasdaq buy. Okay, so gold is getting back up there too. Yep. So it still has about less than 3 minutes to go. So maybe we can wait to see if it closes. Oil. Okay, oil is still just stuck in that little range. I'd like to see if maybe Nasdaq can get up here and close up here. And US 30. Maybe I should have took US 30 because I know how US 30 moves. But regardless, let's see how it will close as well. Okay, so we'll watch Nasdaq and gold here. Just seeing, we got some news here. Fed's Bostic. Feel they can manage through tariffs, but say increases are just a matter of time. Labor market remains solid. Consumption still resilient. Inflation risks remain as businesses run out of ways of postponed tariff. Okay, not much. Okay, gold, really nice candle, bullish ignited candle, breaking through that resistance. Let's see if we get a close in the next less than 90 seconds. If we can get a nice close above here, then we can maybe build off of this and get out of this bearish channel and continue to move to the upside. Okay, I'm in the drawdown on Nasdaq. US 30 and okay, so we'll watch this gold close in just a moment here. So you see it impulsively broke above there. It was a really nice bullish candle. It's got rejected. Will it close like inside this red box or below it, or will it continue to come back and close above it in the next 15 seconds? Let's watch gold here. Yeah, Nasdaq is in that big bearish candle coming down, so it's still early in the market. Okay, here's the close. So gold did in fact close above, so you can change this red to green, and if it holds, maybe it could break through here and continue to the upside. Nasdaq is possibly going to come down to this green zone, and my stop loss is just below it. Okay, so if it comes down here, I will get stopped out of this. I'm in the drawdown. Hopefully want to see it continue to build its way back up. Gold, yeah, it's retesting right now. Yeah, gold looks like a pretty good buy as well. Okay, I'm gonna go in a gold buy. Okay, as well. So those two trades I'm in right now. So I'm gonna go in a gold buy. I like how it came down, closed above, opened bullish. Looking for it to break this trend line, come through here. My stop loss again, I'm gonna put it right below the low of the day. Okay, so just to see if I can get protected by the low of the day, if gold can build momentarily to come back, maybe trade and fill that wick right there. Okay, it could be a stretch. You know, they could definitely come back down for more in here, but I don't want it to break the low of the day and just start falling like a bearish, huge bearish candle. So my protected stop is right below that low of the day on gold. Okay, so I'm going to test out a gold buy, and I'm in the Nasdaq buy as well. That's in the drawdown. Okay, and oil is making a nice move, coming right back up to maybe test this resistance. And you see there was multiple rejections here. There was a rejection, a rejection, a rejection. However, it is 6 a.m. now, so we could get a better push of volume. Okay. So I'm kind of anticipating if gold can build like a second bottom here and start that bullish leg coming through here. But it's difficult because there's this big bearish daily candle. But I'm seeing if it can build at its low of the day, its second leg up. Nasdaq is in full drawdown here. Looks like I'm gonna get stopped out. You know, I could have cut this trade a lot earlier, but however, letting it. I didn't risk too much on it, okay? So just letting it play out. But, you know, sometimes when you go in, you see the rejection, that candle, sometimes I cut the trades right there because it kind of shows me how weak the buyers are. So maybe then it needs to come into the green box because that's where all those pending buyers are waiting in there. Okay, and we're going to close in 90 seconds across all of these securities on the 5 minutes here. Okay. U.S. oil is pushing right back up to this big area of resistance. However, it could break. You know, it breaks, could get to that high of the day. It could get to that 200 EMA there. Okay, let's see gold's close in the next minute. Okay, so just coming from Trump, Iran and Israel agreed to staggered ceasefire. Staggered ceasefire. I don't know what that means. Staggered ceasefire. That means one side stops and then the other side continues to bomb until they stop. It's not really a true ceasefire. Like Iran stops now, and then Israel can stop in 6 hours from now. So they can continue bombing them for the next 6 hours. To me, it sounds pretty ridiculous, but that's coming from Trump. Okay, so we did close pretty bullish on gold. Okay, so but we're right at that, you know, that red parallel trend line. It's impulsively broke above it right there at 415 and got rejected. It impulsively broke right here again at 5 and got rejected back down. So we're testing it one more time. Can we impulsively break above it, but can we get volume closing above this red trend line? Okay, so that's what we're watching. Oil got right up to the red box and now it's getting rejected back down. Okay. Nasdaq, you know, I'm in the drawdown. I'm trying to buy like a continuation pullback, running with this daily volume if it will continue to come back up here. But they could definitely test this green zone here. And US 30, similar. If you're looking for maybe a pullback buy on US 30, it's already pulled back a little bit. If it can continue to hold, US 30 might be an opportunity. Okay, so gold, you can see it's in this channel and it's failed multiple times to break this. Okay, so we gotta get some bullish volume closing above this red descending resistance line. Okay, good retest. Okay, when we're looking at 50% of bodies that pulled back into approximately 50% of that previous candle, and it's got a short wick. So it is trying to break this descending parallel trend line. We're filling that prior wick right there. So let's see again if we can break for a new high. Okay, that's very, very important. We don't want tweezer top highs or another lower high. We want to break for a new high. Take out that wick and just drive maybe up to 3,324, somewhere right around there. But also what we need out of this candle is to close with this volume above this red line. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to get stopped out very soon unless buyers step in at this green zone here. I'm going to get stopped out of Nasdaq. Okay, so it's a good candle so far. We have less than 2 minutes to go, 1 minute and 45 seconds to be exact. So we'll watch the close. Mind you, we haven't closed with any bullish volume above this red descending trend line in quite some time. So this might be our first candle. we'll see if we can build off of this as well. Okay. $60 seconds to go. Okay, so oil came right up to our red box, and then it's got a bearish candle pushing down, but it could just find some support and go back up. Nasdaq is coming right down to the green zone. So I went in a little way too early on Nasdaq. So if buyers don't show up in this green box, I'm going to get stopped out of Nasdaq. US 30 continued to wait. It's moving like Nasdaq. The support wasn't there at this red line, so just wait it out. Maybe it needs to come trade into more in this big bullish candle right here, into more 50%, or in the green zone as well down in here. Let's watch gold into the close. Okay, will it close near the high? Will it close above that previous? So it did create a new high above this high on this candle at 545. Okay, so if we're kind of looking at 50% for a retest into the body right there, 3,322.50. We have an ignited bullish candle, perfect open on that gold candle. So we've already filled our wick, so maybe we can pop and start to fill backfill this range up to maybe 3,325 would be nice, if it can get its way up there. Okay, so that's approximately 25 pips right now, 30, okay, up to there. I want to see if it can get up to about maybe 50% of that bearish candle right there, which would be about close to 50 pips if it can get up there. Then that might save me from my Nasdaq trade and drawdown here, but it's in the green zone. We should see some buyers interested in this area now. So if you were looking to buy Nasdaq, this is a proper area in here. It came to the green zone. Don't do what Ron just did there. This would be a good area in here to buy. However, if it does break, my stop is right there and I'm out of that trade. Okay, so we got rejected, came up, rejected. Now retesting 50% of that bullish candle, but it could also come down and retest our trend line. Okay, remember this was the first volume based bar that did close above the trend line. This was an impulse that didn't close above. That was an impulse that didn't close above. We got our first one. So it could definitely come all the way right back down to test the trend line. It could come back down to test this zone down in here. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it can consolidate up here above 50% of that bullish volume. Maybe flag up here and then try to get back up to the top range. But it could consolidate, building. You know, this is the first time volume kind of snuck out of this parallel channel. So maybe it needs to hold. We got a little bit of support in the green box. That's why I said, don't do what Ron did up there. It's always best to wait for your zones. But there is a little interest in buyers, but still got a lot of room to go to the upside. So maybe it needs to build. However, this could be like just a small pullback and that selling pressure pushes it back down. But I'm hoping that the buyers are here in this green box and can push it up just a little bit more and close it positive, maybe above this range, above 22,100, and maybe we can build back and get me back to break even on this trade. Gold is filling nicely. Okay, so it came back down. It's still respecting 50% and above of that previous bullish candle, and we are filling back up. So I'd like to definitely see if we can drive into about 50% right up here to 3,326 would be a nice move if we can kind of reclaim that area up there. We've got about a minute to go. Let's see what oil is doing. Okay, so oil is just kind of consolidating in here. And US 30, if US 30 can get its bullish volume above this red line, maybe use it as support, that might look like a good attempt to maybe engage in a buy on US 30 and continue following this big bullish daily candles volume. And we're going to go into the close in the next 30 seconds. Okay, so here's the close in 5 seconds. They rejected it right near the end. It opened bearish, ignited this bar, so it could definitely continue to come back down. Retest this red line for support, maybe form a higher low wick, which we got right now. But it's got a little bit of a wick it needs to fill and continue to drive through. And fill that wick at 3,325 and 60 cents. So that would be nice if we can fill that and get up to this point, and then that's where I will be reducing my risk. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so let's see now if we can push with this volume on gold and fill that wick, and then that's when I'm reducing my risk in this trade. There we go. Okay, so right there, that's about 40 pips. Okay, so if it gets up to about 50% of that bearish candle, that's what I'm looking at right there. It could be about 45 to 50 pips up there. Definitely should be reducing a little bit of risk, guys. Okay. If you want to take out some profit, you're welcome to do that. You know, manage your own account, please. Nasdaq is starting to build a little bit, but still, we don't have any big volume-based candles here. So it could continue to consolidate. Sellers could easily push this right back down, down into here, but hopefully it can continue to build. Yeah, we're pushing right back to the high. Okay, let's see if we can break. Again, I'm looking at that wick right there where my dotted line is, 3,325 and 55 cents. So we want to break that to create a new higher high. Otherwise, that is technically a lower high and coming back down. Okay, so it might have to continue to build. But if it can break there, that would be a nice maybe 45, 50 pip trade. And then that's where definitely you want to consider reducing your risk in this trade. Okay, I'm going to reduce my risk. I'm going to move it. I'm not going to a break even ultimately, but what I'm doing is I'm moving it right below this green zone. So I've reduced my risk substantially from where I was. To now, like down there, I had I've reduced my risk about 35 pips now. So I'm just below this green zone. If it can break through there, then I'm going to go to a full break even. Nasdaq is building a little bit. It's got a nice ignited candle, but a lot of distance to come all the way back up. We got a Discord buy, long gold at around 3,325 or 20. Okay, 3,325. Okay, up where our resistance is, and 3,320 right in here above our green zone. Okay. So you see, we got rejected. We didn't create that new high. Okay, that's why where I was up on this blue candle right here at 5:10 a.m. Eastern. So you see that dotted line? That's what I was watching to see if we could break that dotted line and continued to make a new high. It got rejected, and now we got this bearish pin bar shooting star candle that could be coming down, back down to retest the red line, that 50% of that candle, the 9 EMA, maybe consolidate a little bit before it gets its next push up. Nasdaq is recovering a little bit, okay? So, but I went in too early, way too early. I thought that 6 a.m. that where it pushed down was going to break. I was 100% wrong on that. But you see, the better move would have been waiting patiently in that green zone and then taking a trade out of there. You're in minimal to zero drawdown. So my mistake on Nasdaq. But let's see if it can recover. You know, it's still got a lot of bearish momentum. It could definitely come back down and retest this green zone. And then if US 30 can also close above here, could build and continue its leg up. It's got a nice bullish candle volume. Guys, is it confusing me switching from chart to chart to chart, or are you guys okay? It's not confusing? It's all good? Okay. Okay, so there's the close. We didn't get the close on gold that we wanted, okay? We had a nice, it was at a beautiful retest. It was a beautiful bullish candle, but we couldn't take out that high. It got rejected. This candle bar's opening ignited again. So we do have buyers interested. They are asking to trade up here, but we've got these two big wicks to fill, which sometimes is difficult to fill when you're in a downtrend. So sellers have more pressure. So technically they could push this thing down. However, if we can build maybe, and buyers are asking to trade up by these wicks, we can maybe make our move back up. Okay, and Nasdaq is retracing back down. We had a nice little bounce out of the green zone. It came up. Sellers could be pushing it back down. So now we got to see if we can build some higher lows or build like a second bottom at this green box and take us back up to the resistance up there. Jonathan, on Nasdaq, as you are in a loss, you push another position in lower low to try plan B. No, I'm not going to add another position yet. Just going to let the first one play out. Kind of going to see if gold can kind of get me to a break even. Maybe close out 80% if it can get up here. And then at least I'm hoping, I don't want to jinx it, but if gold can help me get out of the drawdown on the Nasdaq, and then it's kind of like a scratch on both of the trades, and then I gotta recalibrate. Well, you see there's a lot of resistance up here. There's a wick. We got a nice bullish candle building, but again, I always say, always look at the size of the wicks. If it was a short wick, very short wick like this one, a smaller one, and we had that bullish ignited candle open, we could have filled that wick and we would have been driving to this point of interest. But we do have these relatively larger wicks above us, so it takes a lot of volume to backfill and fill that wick, and then in order to create a new high. Yeah, oil is basically just stuck in here. Only things that are moving right now are Nasdaq, US 30, and gold currently from the 4 charts that we're looking at. Oil is still coiling up, still building. Okay, 2 more minutes to go. And then we're moving into 630. 630 is another big time frame. It's a new 30-minute candle. That brings in momentum, that brings in volatility as well. So, you know, sometimes when you're in a trade and you're moving into a 30-minute candle or an hourly open, momentum can switch very fast. So we got a nice bullish candle. Can we fill our wick and break a little higher? All we got to do again is break my dotted line, 3,325 and 55 cents, to create a new higher high with this momentum going into 630. So let's see. We got a nice bullish candle. It's filling, but can it break that dotted line? I don't want to see a tweezer top high up there. Okay, there we go. Come on, break my dotted line. Create that new high. We have a nice bullish candle on gold. But we got to break new highs, right? Because we're trading against the trend technically. But this is the first break of our parallel channel going down. So it's a lot of resistance up here. Wow. Nasdaq got a good wick as well, guys. So I'm watching Nasdaq as well on my other chart, but Nasdaq got a good wick. Can we flip this body and take it back up to here? But gold, wow, it's teasing us. Holy, is it asking for a lot? Is it asking for a lot for gold traders to ask to trade up here? Come on, just break this dotted line, please. Going into 630. Oh, here it is. Oh my God. Okay, so 50%. We got a nice bullish candle. You know, get your cut line. Figure out where 50% is. 630. Can they just break this wick and just drive a little further? If not, we're gonna pull back and test 50% of our previous bullish candle. Nasdaq is coming right back down bearish, okay? So looks like it wants to retest this green zone or break and take out my stop down there. Okay, so gold, good move. Again, 50% of that bearish candle right there is approximately almost 50 pips. 50 pips is right there, okay? Okay, I'm going to close out 80% of my trade on gold. It got to my destination. I'm closing out 80% on gold. And then Nasdaq, I'm going to close the trade entirely. And then it's kind of like a break even. So I'm closing my drawdown trade in Nasdaq. I'm out of it. I'm not going to wait for it to tap my stop loss. I'm out. And I also closed out 80% of profit on gold. So it's basically a scratch for me. All the profit I made on gold, it kind of made up for the loss on Nasdaq. So I'm kind of right at a break even. I didn't win, I didn't lose. I'm right back to break even, okay? I got 20% running in profit on gold. I'm going to bring my stop loss to break even on the 20% running. And you guys understand what I did there? Okay, so I took out 80% right at 50 pips, and then I removed myself from Nasdaq. I took the loss there, and then I got 20% running at break even on gold. Okay, so unfortunately Nasdaq didn't work out, but gold did. One trade was good, one trade was shitty, and at the end of the day, it's a break even on both of them. Okay, so that's for me. And then I just got to refocus now. Okay, so if I want to go back to trading Nasdaq, I gotta now watch it. Will it break? Will it close down there? Is it further going to come down? Do I have a better opportunity maybe to look for a better buy? You know, like right, if it drops all the way down to here where there was resistance, if it turns to support right there, that might be a good opportunity. If it comes all the way down there, I might look to buy that, or I watch to see what it does in this green zone in here. Well, like here, where it broke and it came back up and closed in there, and then that could be, maybe we got to break again this and come back up, and then maybe I buy off of this. But if it closes below here, it could drop even further. So I don't want to stay in that trade anymore. Remember, my stop loss previously was below the green box. I don't want to chance it. There's no point. I recovered with the gold trade. And, you know, so sometimes you got to do that, guys. I know swing traders don't necessarily trade like that because they're swinging, but scalpers, sometimes you're going to take a couple trades. You might even take simultaneous trades on securities. You might be in a buy on gold, a sell on Nasdaq, and a buy on oil. You know, so you got to kind of juggle them. Sometimes two of them will work out and one doesn't. Okay, but you can still, you know, manage your risk properly. Okay, so with me, when I trade, a break even is just a break even. I didn't win, I didn't lose, but there's something to learn from. So maybe I not maybe, I did jump in too early at the 6 a.m. candle on Nasdaq. I kind of waited properly for gold, but shit like that happens, guys. It's trading. So now, okay, you know, like a nice pullback buy would be in this green box on gold. Okay, so I'm going to add an alert in here for later today. Maybe I don't get it on today's call, but if gold ever does come back down into 3,320, that might be a good opportunity, again, to look for a nice pullback buy. So what you can do as a trader all day is set your zones, set some alerts, and just patiently wait for it. You don't have to be at your trade station. You can be, you know, you could be cutting the grass. And if it comes down there, you might get an alert. I don't necessarily think you're going to just run down to your trade station when you're cutting the grass. But I get alerts to my mobile, and I trade off of my mobile too. So everything that I mark on my charts gets marked on my mobile. And I get alerts throughout the day at these zones. Good. Boom. I'm. You know how much I respect that. You closed your Nasdaq a bit earlier. You got your losses back on gold, and now running in profit for the day. You're working at being a robot and keeping your emotions in check. Man, that's what. Boom. That's what trading's all about. That's what it's about. You're gonna take some wins. You're gonna take some losses. But if you keep up with that robotic style of trading, and that robotic style for me personally keeps my emotions in check and keeps me, you know, just constantly trading, respecting my zones, things like that, keeps me consistent, where I'm not guessing every single day, and just a routine that I do day in and day out. And, you know, some days are better than others, but you can gain consistency. So that's respectable. Good for you, Boom. I love that. Joker, do I recommend Premium Trading View? I don't really recommend it. I don't recommend anything, but it is good to utilize, because I think the premium, you get more alerts. So if you want to add alerts, like the free version, I don't think you have the ability to add alerts. The free version is good to get started on TradingView, but if you want the premium to add alerts, maybe get more indicators and things like that, definitely, it's a good investment. I think it will pay off if you do invest in the premium version of TradingView. Always in November, they always have like Black Friday deals where it's like 80% off. If you don't have it yet, just wait a couple more months. TradingView always has good sales on, and then buy the annual plan when it's 80% off, and then you got alerts for the entire year, unlimited alerts you can put on your charts and trade based off of that. Okay, but now, okay, see Nasdaq, okay, so it came in here, it might be building, you know. As much as I want to get back in on Nasdaq, you know, it's just, I want to see like kind of a bullish candle develop. I don't want to just see a wick. Kind of want to see a nice engulfing candle, maybe build in here. Okay, so that's a nice bullish candle, but again, it's going to close in 2.5 minutes. So maybe I wait for it to physically close before I get in again. And then I get in, and then they break it down, and then it closes below here, and we're dropping down again. So sometimes you just got to, you know, wait it out a little bit. But gold is moving nicely, okay? So each one of these red lines now is a support line. Okay, you see it was 50% of that bullish candle. We haven't came and retested it, 3,322 and 50 cents. This red line was 50% of this bullish candle, 3,324 and 50 cents. We haven't came down to retest it. So we're just building higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. See that candle, how important it was at 625? This big bullish candle, what I was saying, we had big wicks to backfill, but it filled it properly and it closed above it. And that's why we got that continuation push at 630, was because of this candle right here at 625. If this thing did not kind of get above this red line at 630, we could have rotated all the way back down. So this candle was a good candle for us in the gold buy. Very good candle. It kind of gave us the momentum going into 630 because it closed above that big wick. Flawless, do I trade futures? I trade the past, I trade the present, I trade the future, I trade everything. You name it. It's like, how can you not trade the futures? You know, how can you, like, it's just changing the name of a chart. Like right now we're on NAS100, just go to NQ. You're trading the futures. Here at SSD, we trade the past, present, and the future. We trade everything. Oil, okay. Oil might be like maybe a double top up here, okay? So this red zone, just under $67 on oil. Rejected, rejected, rejected. Now we got this structure. It came up, back down. There's our neckline. It came back up, double top, M, okay? So this could definitely have a powerful leg to come down. If it can maybe close below that structure, maybe come up and retest, we could be dropping back down on oil unless it can continue to build with higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and continue to get up there. Trump asked about truce breaking. I don't think so. We got now Trump talking. Yeah, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, we do appreciate it, guys. If you can hit the likes, we do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Man, Nasdaq has a nice bottom, okay? Oh, as I said that, okay? It was bullish, it came up, and it just got slammed back down. So this could be a good opportunity, maybe, to look for a potential opportunity on Nasdaq. But you see how it developed at our zone down in here, okay? Let's see what Miss Jones is doing. Sometimes Nasdaq, I gotta get back to Miss Jones. So I'm waiting for it to maybe close above this red line here. Maybe build off of this to the upside. Let's see if we got any news coming up. I don't think we do. 7 a.m. Nothing. We have just 8:30 news. A lot of Canadian CPI news coming up. Wow, gold. Look at it go. Okay. So I'm still invested. I got 20% running. I'm 60 pips here. And then a good target. Okay. So when we're looking for targets, and we have to be honest with ourselves, like, because we are counter trading a bear trend right there. I would say if it can get up there, that would be a good opportunity to like scale out another position right up there. This is what started this big trend coming all the way down. And there's that 50% of that bearish candle. And you see that bullish candle that retested it. And that's what started that leg coming down. So we could be coming right back into that around 3,329. That would be an excellent structural area to take some more profit out of there. Wow. Okay, so coming from Trump's mouth, both Israel and Iran violated the ceasefire. Like, did you actually think that these two countries were going to just agree to a ceasefire because of Trump? Come on. Like, Iran was saying they don't even know what he's talking about. You know, just like when he said with China, he spoke with them and about the tariffs. And China's like, I don't even know what this guy was talking about. He didn't even speak with us. So could be just Trump. He's full of shit. And he's just talking to make himself look good, like he's the peacekeeper here, but but there's still, last time I checked, there's still missiles flying. There's still rockets going. I don't know what to believe with this guy anymore. Okay, so you see that double top M on oil? Okay, so you see how our red zone is holding up here? So let's see if it can close below these bodies and might start that next leg coming down on oil. Okay, so Nasdaq had that nice big bullish candle coming right back down. So again, I want to see if it will break, maybe catch a wick and come back up. Maybe they got to grab some liquidity. Very similar to this setup right here at 3:50 a.m. Eastern, that candle. Okay. Well, let's watch where gold will close. Okay, and you still got to respect gold's daily candle, okay? I know we're in this buy, but we're counter buying. Look at today's gold candle, okay? It's very bearish. We kind of got this second leg, like kind of that wick. That's us in this gold trade. So my thought process on this was that double bottom. So you guys see how it played out right now? It came down this entire area, one bottom. There's our bigger neckline up there. Okay, and then it came all the way down. So you see right there, start of 6 a.m. we came up, we kind of closed. 6:05 is when we kind of took the buy, but it looks like a double bottom, and we got that second leg coming right back up, right? But you still got to respect that there's a ton of selling pressure in today's daily candle. It could come to this red box, trend line, and drop all the way back down. Then you see like it's an M top, and there's one top, there's kind of a second top, and then it drops back down. So you got to understand we're counter trading this big bearish candle. So it could definitely come back down. So this is where, you got to really consider taking some profit out of the market or reducing your risk with a stop loss or scaling out and things like that, okay? So oil, it did close below, okay, these bodies. So it's retesting, and it could definitely continue to try and push down further down in here. Nasdaq is building. Oh, I like Nasdaq now, how it's building, okay? So guys, I'm really want to get in Nasdaq again, but maybe I got to get in US 30. US 30, I like how it moves better than Nasdaq personally. It came up, it got rejected, it's opening ignited again. Yeah, I'm gonna go in a US 30 buy. Okay, so I'm gonna see where I'm gonna place my stop loss below that wick right there, and then I'm gonna look to definitely kind of come back up to that red line and maybe break a little further up to there. Okay, so I'm gonna test a US 30 buy and see if it can get some momentum and build off of that nice daily candle and get some good volume up to there, okay? Let's see. So what I want to do is I want to continue to trade with this big daily bullish volume, and I want to trade with the overall higher time frame trend as opposed to countering it, okay? So I can see it did sell off, come back up, came that deep candle, they pinned it down in there, it came back up. So this leg is kind of like a double bottom right here where it came down as the neckline, Kind of came down. I'm not looking all the way there where they pinned it. I'm looking at the structural area. So that's kind of like the second bottom. So you can see we're trying to break the neckline right now. It tried on that previous candle. It got rejected. So we got an ignited open coming back up. Similar like gold. Can it fill that body of volume, that wick? Fill it with some volume. Maybe close somewhere like right around here. Maybe come back down and retest this. And then maybe we get our momentum to come back and trade in here. Fill that prior wick and test up there. Okay, so I'm in a buy on US 30, either Nasdaq, whichever one you choose to. Nasdaq is still building here as well. I personally like US 30 a little bit better. Okay, so I'm in a buy on US 30. We got close in 60 seconds. Okay, so Trump is now tweeting a lot out here, or whatever it's called, Truth Social, whatever it is here he does. Where did we leave off? Iran will never rebuild its nuclear program. This is all from Trump. Iran's nuclear capacities are gone. Trump, I'm not happy with Israel. Trump, not happy with Iran either. Trump, but really unhappy with Israel. This guy's a clown. Just look at what he's saying. I'm not happy with Israel. I'm not happy with Iran either, but really unhappy with Israel. This guy's too much. Someone called him an orange orangutan on the news. It was funny. Looks like oil wants to maybe potentially push down. Okay. So let's see if we can build like a second bottom on Nasdaq and as well as US 30. US 30, we have a nice bullish ignited open. Okay, so nice blah, we had it, but we got a wick. So it came back down, kind of refueled itself, came back up, got rejected again. So if it does come back down, maybe we hold this red line. There's a nice refuel, so we're kind of filling the rocket here. Hopefully we can refuel it with some jet fuel here and start to break out through here. Having difficulty breaking this resistance right here. Yeah, oil. So oil key areas right here, guys. See where that neckline was? Where it came down, it held that support, the 9 EMA, came back up. There's the double top that closed below, and it's retesting it. So this could be that push down that I was talking about on oil. Could push definitely down, and then see if it will fill those wicks and continue to break a new low. Okay, so you can see how it got rejected at that red zone up there. That's why using these zones is important in your trading. Identify where the zones are, and you can literally trade off of them. Okay. Trump to Israel, do not drop those bombs. Do these countries even respect him anymore? Like, do they even care what he says? I think he's lost credibility. Okay, so we did create a high. Okay, so it did break for a new high above this wick at 640. Got rejected again. Continue to build. If I'm looking for a neckline on US 30, right here that's where the neckline is. So if we can continue to maybe hold this, we should see it build. I can bring this zone down to there, to the red line. So that's where we got to build. And we're closing in 60 seconds. So hopefully we can close with some bullish volume up here on US 30. Okay, so last 30 seconds, very important on all candlesticks, all time frames. Last 30 seconds is very important. Doesn't matter if you're trading a 1 minute candle, a 3 minute candle, 5 minute, 15, a 1 hour, 4 hour, or daily. Last 30 seconds is very, 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 very important. Okay, it shows who has momentum going into the next bar that's going to open. As long as there's not manipulation, okay, we can't control that. Okay, so it did close with a little bit of bullish volume. This candle now advanced. It opened with a bearish ignited head. So it's following the wick, how it closed, and then it's starting ignited, pushing down. Okay, so number one thing as a buyer, when something is coming down, we got to look for a higher low. We've got that. Are we respecting 50% of our previous volume in the candle? Technically, right now we are. Okay, now I look at the size of the wick above. Is it a smaller wick? Is it a rather larger wick? Because if it's a larger wick, we need more buyers to start asking to trade up here to fill that wick and create a new high. Okay. Sometimes when the wick is a large exhaustion wick, sometimes you get some bullish volume like this, but there's not enough asking up here, then the sellers will come in and push it right back down. So we need more buyers to start asking to trade above 42,895, close to 900. Okay, so we got a nice bullish candle filling the wick. Can we fill and pop for a new high? Okay, and maybe we can continue to drive on this. Okay, and gold is still consolidating. It's you can see it's starting to get a little choppy now. A lot of spin top candles, a lot of indecision. Sellers are bringing it down, buyers are bringing it back up. Sellers are bringing it down, buyers are bringing it back up. So when you start to get like this, and there's limited volume, then whoever's the aggressor could step right in the market and move this. So if a big aggressive buyer comes in, starts moving it back up, it could definitely. But you know, we are trending down. It isn't a bearish trend. We counter traded that move for 60 pips, and now a bigger seller can come in and just start to push this thing down. Okay, anytime you start to see this type of consolidation, anyone can come in, whoever's the aggressor. Okay, so it looks like oil came down. They pinned it. It could be looking to start its way back up here. And Nasdaq and US 30 are still consolidating inside here. Okay, so you see how nice and bullish that nice bullish candle was. We filled, we actually created a new high, and now it got rejected because it's still got a lot of this selling pressure still above us. So now we're retesting our zone. It might come into a little bit of drawdown. However, if we do get a wick and push ourselves back up, we got to get volume back to consolidate, maybe flag above here so that we can get more aggressive buyers stepping in and pushing this thing up. And look at the time. We're 2 minutes away from 7 a.m. Eastern, and this is when we start to get, you start to see hourly switch up now. So you see how momentum changes? It's like clockwork on the 30 minutes, on the 1 hour, and also if you get 4-hour candles opening up. This is momentum switching in the markets. That's why sometimes I hate being in a trade when we're going into a new hour. I absolutely hate it because things like this happen. So it's not only you got to wait patient for a trade, it's also timing the trades as well, because things like this happen. And it sucks, believe me. As a scalper, I get exposed to this a lot. You know, maybe as a swing trader, you don't, because you take a trade and you're holding it for multi-hours. So you're not really watching this like candle by candle, how we are scalping these markets. But a lot of times you're going to see this. It's the hourly switch up. See on a lot of securities. Like you see gold. Look at gold, how it's coming down all the way back down. When? 1 minute prior to 7 a.m. Oil, now it's going back up. Nasdaq pushing back down. US 30 breaking down here. So now what I got to do is I got to watch how it closes. And that what I was just talking about, the last 30 seconds. Will show who has momentum. So if these sellers close it below this green zone, I got to flip it red. Then it could start 7 a.m. in bearish sellers could start pushing it down. However, if buyers can bring it right back up near the closing in green zone, maybe 7 a.m. will open with some bullish momentum coming back up. So got to really follow where these candle bars close. Okay, so here's the close. 3, 2, 1, close. It closed right below our green box. And how did the candle open? Ignited bearish. So this is a red zone, ignited bearish candle, looking to maybe take out these lows and come down lower. Can the buyers flip this thing back up? Otherwise, we're coming back down bearish. Okay, gold. So gold came all the way kind of back down to this red line. That was still that 50% of that bullish candle. Is it going to continue come back up, or will it respect this, hold and consolidate in here and try again to come back up, or is the selling pressure going to start to break things down? Oil. Okay, so oil came right back up. See how you can utilize these lines now? See there where it was support, support. That body closed below it. It used that red line as resistance where it dropped down further down into there, but we got a higher low. It came back up. And look, now it closed with volume above. And look at what it just retested, that same red line. So that's what I mean when you have a static line in the market. It's just the line is static. The line you don't have to change. The only thing that changes is the volume. The volume is variable. If it closes above, it may use the line as a support. If it closes below, it may use that line as resistance. That's where you can see for retests and confirmations. Nasdaq is still building at this green box, still hasn't broke yet. And our Dow Jones, okay, so 7 a.m. I told you, they probably came down there. They hit some stop losses, came down there, and now it could be coming back up, closing above here. If it closes back above here with bullish volume, this zone again is a static zone, just like I just mentioned about a static line. Static zone, if it closes with bullish volume above here, then what we do is we just take the red box and we, again, just change it to a green box. And we see if it will develop with some positive delta in the depth of the market, and if it can continue to build its way up. But we got a rejection wick, rejection wick, rejection wick. So every time the buyers are coming up here, we're getting rejected. So still showing lots of offers in the market. A lot of sellers. Okay, again, and then you saw it came up there, lower high. They rejected it back down. So if it closes back below here, you know, it could continue push down. Guys, I'm just gonna exit this US 30 trade and just get out of it. I'm gonna take my loss right there. I don't like this candle. I'll continue to wait it out. So I'm exiting right now. I'm taking my loss right there. I rather just lose like 10, 12 pips than sit there with my stop loss and get stopped out there. So, you know, I'm really trading with management today. I just don't like that. I don't like how it came up. They rejected it back down. I can see as soon as it came down there, that's time to exit this trade. It's a big bearish candle. I don't need to sit below that wick and wait there like a sitting duck with my stop loss when I can see how the candle is coming down like a shooting star. I can wait it out. I'd rather lose just 12 pips than lose 30 pips. That's just how I manage my risk, guys. You know, as a scalper, that's what I do. You know, it saves me more pips to trade. So I just saved myself 20 pips that I could place on another setup. Right now, I don't like this setup. It's still building. I don't want to be there waiting for this thing to build. I want confirmations. Like I can continue to wait it out and see if the buyers can close it above here and then retest this. Then maybe I'll go back in the buy and then I'll go back in, okay? So that's the way I trade, guys. Sometimes when I see that the buyers are not there or they're not proving to me they're strong, the sellers are showing me they're stronger, sometimes you don't need to sit in a trade and just wait there for either it to hit your TP or for it to hit your stop loss. You can manage the trade yourself while you're in it. The reason why I do this is because I trade a lot of options, option trading. So some traders think you trade options and you have to hold it until the expiration date. You don't need to. You can close it out at any time, whether you're in profit or you're down a couple percent. Like you don't have to wait till the expiration. Same with when you're in a trade here, when you're trading Forex or futures. You don't have to wait for it to hit your stop loss or hit your TP. If you don't like the setup, you can exit yourself manually and look for a better trade, okay? So in that, I lost 12 pips, but where my previous stop loss was down there and it was more than 30 pips. So it's just, I don't like the setup. That doesn't mean you got to hold it. I tried, like, you know, I saw it close above. It was building, but I see how weak the buyers are now. They're not there. Okay, so like even Nasdaq, guys, it's just consolidating, it's barcoding. Right now is probably not the time to trade the indices right now. I would continue to wait it out a little bit longer. And we'll wait for Miss US 30 to figure out where it wants to go. Trump is saying Israel has to calm down. I have to get Israel to calm down. I'm going to see if I can stop it. Okay. Okay, so you see Nasdaq is breaking down lower highs. So It's pushing down. We're in that trend coming down here. We lost our bullish parallel channel, so now it's coming down. You see there? That's why I got out of that. Okay, so this is a clear example. You see, when it was coming down there, I took my 12 pip stop loss and I exited. I took my loss, because if I didn't, I saw the way how it was coming down. Remember, my stop was below that wick right there. I would have been stopped out. Then I would have lost an additional probably 25 pips on top of that. So you can see, you got to be selective when you're trading. If you are in a buy and you see that the buyers are not, they're not there, and there's more sellers, that doesn't mean that you got to sit and hold the trade to your stop loss. Okay, you can clearly see that they're not there. They're not closing it with conviction. They're not closing it above highs. They're not building anything. They're just getting pushed down, pushed down. It's like the seller is the bully and keeps pushing them down. So you can manage the trade, guys. Okay, please learn this. Okay, I've learned this. I need you guys to learn this. And you can save yourself. Trading is, you got to save your capital. You got to save as much as you can. So that's a way how you can save your capital. I saved myself an additional 25 pips of draw where I would have got stopped out. So I look at that as a good thing. Yeah, it sucks I got stopped out. That's the shitty thing, is I took an L, but you got to look at the bright side. I could have taken a 30 plus pip stop loss, but exiting myself, I only lost 12. So you got to look at the net gain, you know, of 20 or more pips, and then I can now put that on another trade at a better setup. Okay, and then look at now. So it could come all the way right back down to the green zone, to the bigger zone. Okay, that was just a minor point of interest that we were just trading up there, but this is a bigger zone down in here. Okay, this was where it came down, it went back up, came down, went back up, came down. How many times did it come in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in here. That started that nice big bullish move. So we're coming right back down into here. Okay. So now we're starting to develop a top wick on our daily candle. Come on, Wayne. Did Trump just swear? Oh my God, yeah, there it is. Oh my God, guys. Israel and Iran fighting so long and so hard, they don't know what the F they're doing. That is from Trump. Oh my God, it's even on the news. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. This guy is insane. Insane. The leader of the free world. Orange orangutan. Oh my God. Sometimes I think we're living in a like a nightmare or something. What is going on? This is too much. Lucky I wasn't drinking coffee too, Wayne. I would have spit it out. Oh my God. As soon as you said that, the bullish candle on gold, wow, it's all over the news. Unbelievable. Okay, so tough day today. It's pretty slow, okay, but things will open up. Okay, so now we have a change in structure right now. So you see we have our first bearish candle closing below this green zone on Nasdaq. So We have to go through the motions. So we got to flip the green zone red now on Nasdaq. Okay. You see, before we were coming in here, it was holding, but it wasn't getting above 22,100. So it continued push down, and that body closed below. So we could continue to drop further down unless the buyers can step in and close it back above here. So we're bearish on Nasdaq. You know, US 30 is back. We're going to see if it can come into this green zone. Maybe we'll see what will happen in there. But it's got a lot of room to move. When you're looking for like a, I get this question a lot too. When you see this big bearish candle, base your fair value bear zone or just a zone off of that wick and that wick. And then you can see the body of volume that's still left over untapped. So you see how I just did that? You see this big bearish candle where it opened, it made a high, it came all the way down and it closed right there. You see that previous wick and that wick right there. You see that body of volume right there, that black volume in that red box? That's what you stretch into the future, okay? So if it ever kind of comes back inside here, you would assume that it's sellers in here, and then it would technically get pushed back down. If it can get above, go back down and come back and close above there, then you flip that zone and you invert it, and maybe that will turn into a bullish depth of market. And then maybe when you flip it green, we come in here, then it's now buyers, more delta buyers in there, and then we look for a buy, and then we're going back up to fill back up to here, okay? So try and identify these if you guys can. Again, it's not always 100%. Some of these are invalid, some are valid, okay? But that's why you got to use confirmations when you're trading as well. You don't want to just trade on an impulse. You kind of want to wait for volume to technically close above to flip that zone. And what I mean by when it closes above, if you get a bullish candle closing above, then you flip that zone, you invert it, show like it's showing buyers, and then as it pulls back in that inverted zone, maybe now the depth of market is strong with buyers, and then you're going back up, okay? So that's just a quick little lesson on that zone. And they're easy to identify if you're looking in the right spots, okay? Like here, there was a bearish candle, but you see the wick came all the way up there and all the way. There's no gap left in that candle. There is a gap left in this one. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Zoom, you guys understand that, okay? Because we got to do our fair value gap webinar, but there's a prime example of it, what it looks like, what you should train your eyes to look for, okay? And then what you can do with that gap is you can always move it backwards, and you can see like how like this bullish candle, how it closed above, and then you can see that there was a little bit left behind, and then when it came right into there, that's what started that move going up. Okay, here it broke it, but look at where it closed, above that gap, and then continue push up. Now we came back below it again, and it's still, there's that red gap, that bearish volume gap in there. So if we do come back up bullish, that's where sellers could bring it right back down. Okay, so let's see what our gold is doing. Gold is still building, okay? So we'll see if gold has enough volume to get up to this area right up here, 3,329. Oil is pushing down, okay? So it came back up, lower high, closed back below that red line, and open again bearish and pushing down, okay? And what do we got? Nasdaq, okay, closed below, trying to come back above here, okay? So I'm gonna wait it out, guys. There'll be much better volume to trade going into Wall Street, okay? So we started this was pre-New York session, Dave will be coming in at 8 a.m. and he'll be taking you guys through Comex and a little bit of Wall Street. And then we should be getting some better volume. Let's just go over any news to remind you guys later this afternoon. We have a lot of Canadian CPI news. I'm just looking for US news. This is a big one too, guys. If you're in a trade at this time at 10 a.m. or 9:30, 9:45, just understand that Mr. Powell is testifying. It's not an FOMC event. It's not going to be that type of impact. It's not going to be that type of volatility. But he's still answering questions and talking at a conference. So anytime he talks about monetary policy, if he gets a question about tariffs, if he gets a question about interest rates, if he gets a question about the labor market and things like that, he's going to talk about it. And the markets do move because if he hints something, maybe he might hint future cuts in July, like the other FOMC members are saying. That could be very bullish for the markets. And Nasdaq is not too far away from the all-time high. So, that's maybe what all the market needs is him just to say that. And the markets are rocking to new all-time highs. Gold is coming all the way right back up, okay? So the runner is running. Sometimes I like this. I say, oh, man, why didn't I hold my entire trade? But then what happens in that drawdown right there? Or then if it came all the way back down and hit my break even, then you would have gave away 60-plus pips to the market. So, leaving a runner kind of takes care of those emotions. Now it's running about 70-plus pips right to that red zone, and that's where we got the wick rejected right there, okay? So that zone is there for a reason, okay? You can see it's kind of 50% of that bearish volume, and then that wick that just hit it was right there. So does it surprise me that we just came right into that red zone, got rejected, and the next bar opens with that bearish momentum and it opens ignited and pushing down? It does not surprise me. US 30, we got an alert on US 30. So you see US 30 is really breaking down. So now the markets are starting to move. I'm not sure if there's some developing news, but the markets are moving right now. Okay, so I got an alert because I had a alert at this red line inside this green box. That doesn't mean I just buy right out of it. I got to watch and see how this candle will close, because it could definitely come and close below here and drop even further. Okay, but what it did was it just alerted me to come to the chart and watch what's happening. Okay, so below the green zone, there is a little bit of structure, like a point of interest right here. Okay, there was a wick there. There was a body, a wick, a body close above, and a retest at this red line, 42,800. If it gets down there, that might be a good position to maybe look for a buy. However, if this closes below, could definitely break that and drop even further. Okay, so look at the big response. So it cleared this green zone, actually broke below it, got a massive wick coming back up. So it looks like it triggered all of those pending orders in there. 3 more minutes to go. We can judge how this candle will close when it closes. If you kind of want to go in now, you're trading on impulse. You're trading prior to this bar closing. And if you do that, you have to be aware of what could happen, okay? So we'll keep our eyes on US 30. Also, gold was making a pretty good move, okay? So it came back down where? Roughly 50% of that bullish candle, little bit above, little bit below the zone. And now we're coming right back up to try and fill that wick and break for a new high. Okay, and also oil, okay, still holding. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Still in this consolidated range. We'll see if it can break out of here today and get above $67 a barrel. Nasdaq, okay, broke below. Point of interest is this red line. Okay, support over here, or sorry, resistance over here. Turn to support. Will it still hold support? And US 30 was the one we were watching right here. Okay, so right now, the reason why that news happened, or those moves, 7:21 a.m. Iran's Revolutionary Guards say they fired 14 missiles at Israeli military centers in a last wave that was launched minutes before ceasefire went into effect. Okay, so minutes prior to ceasefire, they fired 14 missiles at Israeli military centers. Okay, so that's what caused that spike in the markets. That's why I mean, guys, it's not easy to trade when there's breaking news coming out all the time now. Okay, especially with war, and when you're trading crude oil, when you're trading gold, when you're trading U.S. equities, that's why you gotta understand your risk management is the most important thing right now in trading. It's more important than anything. Okay, so don't over risk, because you can't control when Trump opens his mouth or when there's missiles being fired back and forth. Okay, you can't control that. All you can control is your risk. So if you don't believe me or don't understand me, and you over risk, and when you blow up an account, then you got no one to complain to. So 30 more seconds. Very bullish candle on US 30. It cut right through that green zone. Now it's coming up bullish in engulfing, where it's gonna engulf maybe possibly these candles. Okay, let's see. Maybe this might hold as a good structural area to maybe look for a potential buy. And here's the close in 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Okay, so coming now we're barcoding. Bearish, bullish, bearish. Okay, so it is kind of holding here. Maybe a neckline, maybe one more push down. However, if it can just hold this doji, it could continue to move back up. But it is that bearish doji. Maybe one more push down into about 50%, or one more tap of this green zone. If not, it's holding. Okay. So that's the first minute when this one opened. You know what, guys? Like, again, I'm looking at the time. It's 7:26. So I'm going to wait till 7:30. Remember, we were talking about this earlier. When we move into a new 30-minute candle, a new hourly candle, sometimes it's best to just wait, because if you go into a trade, like right now with 3 more minutes to go, and then a new 30-minute candle, they could switch the momentum and then you're stuck. So, I'm just going to wait it out. It's consolidating right now. You know what I could do is just identify this zone as consolidation, let it continue to accumulate without me, and I will decide to buy or sell whoever accumulates more in this zone right now, going into 7:30. We can do the same for gold. We can see when it came into our red zone, 70 pips up there. It got rejected coming back down. Now it looks like a hard M pattern, where it came up, neckline. There they kind of swept the highs, maybe take out the liquidity. You see where the structure is, the bodies of candles are right here. And then now you see it could be coming down like an M, breaking there and dropping even further, back down to our green zone. That might be a good opportunity to take a buy. If it comes back down into here, okay, right in here again. Where we took our buy right there, maybe a little lower, we might get an opportunity to enter again. Okay, and oil is just, it's a mess right now. Stay away from oil. If you can consolidate this entire area, stay away from this right now. It's not moving anywhere. It's just going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's accumulating. Oil is not going to stay in this range all day today. If you're smart and you want to make some money, wait for it to do this, accumulate, buyers accumulate, push it above there, close, and then maybe it comes up there. You'll make some money on that. If the sellers are accumulating more, wait for it maybe to possibly close below here, retest this, trade down to that green box. You'll make some money in there. Inside here, it's just it's too difficult. Both sides are accumulating. I would just continue to wait it out for oil. Nasdaq, it's coming right back up, and US 30, it's coming right back up as well, holding that green zone from earlier. This might be the official bottom now in the market. Okay, but we're going into 7:30. And Zoom, I'm going to be done in about 15 minutes. So we'll be done at 7:45 our session. So I can give you guys 10, 15 minutes, grab a coffee, go to the washroom, and then Dave will be starting over, okay? Dave will be taking over. So want to give you guys a break so you guys can grab a drink, grab a coffee, and then join Dave. Okay, good candle. Now going into our next 30 minutes, okay? Closing in 40 seconds here. YouTube, if you guys can leave us a like, there's almost 200 viewers. We do appreciate it. If we don't get enough support, again, we'll just trade with our Zoom like we did last week. We want to continue to come on YouTube, maybe 3 days a week. Hopefully we can get it back to 5 days a week. But it does take some support to come on here. Doesn't cost you anything to like or subscribe to a channel. If you are getting some value out of it, definitely show your appreciation. Okay, so that candle did close above. So what do we got to do? Red zone, we got to make it green. Okay, let's see if we get a nice official retest off of it. Look how the candle opened at 7:30. Bearish ignited, pushing down. So this is what I mean. Sometimes candles open with opposite momentum. So now we got it, came down to the green box. I got an official retest. Well, can we flip our candle? If we do, I could be looking for a buy on Dow here. Okay, so we got a nice retest. It came down, couldn't flip yet. It needs to come back down. Maybe grab some more pending orders. Maybe this might be where it could possibly flip. And then you take a buy. Now you're officially in on 7:30. Okay, so it came up like a bullish pin bar. Okay, coming back down. Okay, so it's just kind of in its own consolidation here. Trevor, amazing. Have a good day today. Have a good day. Enjoy your day today. Stay out of the heat. Okay, I'm going to go in a buy on this hammer candle now on US 30. This will be my final trade of this session because I got to wrap it up in about 15 minutes. My stop loss, I'm going to place it kind of below that red line inside the box, inside that green zone. And I'm looking to see if US 30 can get back up to this red line and maybe break it. Okay, so this is going to be my last trade of this session. I'm in a US 30 buy. I want to see if we can continue build off this momentum and break through here in the next little bit. Oh, welcome, Rob. Welcome. Okay, guys, and just a recap on gold. Okay, so you see that M pattern. It broke the low. It closed right there and continued push down. Guys, all I have in this trade is that 20% runner at break even. So if it gets tapped out there, I'll be tapped out of that runner. Okay, and then our oil. See, close below. Right there at 725, 730, continue to push down. Maybe we'll get down, deep down into this green box down in here. Might reverse back up, or it could definitely continue to break and drop a little further down. Okay, and Nasdaq, Nasdaq too, flip your zones, okay? So you see it came down, respected this point of interest, this red line. It came back up at 725. It closed above, okay? That's when you can make your zone, flip it, invert it to bullish. We had a retest now at 730. So you got the retest, you got the confirmation that it closed above, good retest. Now all it has to do is just continue to get buyers asking to trade up here and continue to take this back up to this red line and maybe a little higher. Same kind of setup with US 30 as well. We did close above, we did retest it. I went in on the retest and on the break, but still got a lot of selling pressure coming back down. So now we got to see if our depth of market buyers are here, if they're strong. If not, a seller could take over. But we still have a strong daily candle. We're trading about 50% of its volume. That's why I initiated a buy. Because if I look at today's daily volume, like the range from as high as from when we own the low point to the high point, we're right around that point of control, right around. So if we go to the SST daily indicator, go to settings, you can, we have Fibonacci. So if I just add like the 0.5, you see where the 0.5 is? It's kind of like right here, the point of control holding 50% of today's entire daily volume. So we're kind of above it. So I want to be a buyer above it. I don't want to kind of be selling because it's still got this big bullish body of this candle. Okay, so let's see if we can get a spike coming back up. Oh my God. When I go into a trade now, Netanyahu, this is like, it's so hard to time this. Oh my God. Okay. Trump now. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Trump, Israel won't attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home. Israel expected to respond with symbolic strike on Iran. Netanyahu told Trump that he could not cancel the attack and that some response was needed to Iran's violation of the ceasefire. Okay, so you see that this is just a game. This is not going to stop, okay? This war is not going to stop. Trump is not going to come in here and miraculously make a ceasefire with these guys. These guys are just not going to stop, okay? And you see how the markets react. Just when there's one comment, you know, you go in the market and then candles switch direction. So it's not easy to trade this stuff, guys, especially when you have this stuff every minute. There's news coming out. It just doesn't stop. So just reduce your risk when you're trading for the next few weeks, next few months, until, who knows, until something settles down. But if not, this is how it's going to be. So we got to get used to this. Okay, and Nasdaq is coming back for a retest. So in order to continue to get this this momentum, gotta continue to come back up, close maybe above here, retest this, and then get this. It might be later after the call, you know, after the call, maybe going into 8 a.m. We might see US 30 recovering and coming back up here. So I'm definitely going to be watching that all day today to see if we can continue moving with this bullish volume that's in our daily candle and continue to trade with this. Look for buying pullbacks. Look for confirmation closes. We had that retest until that news came out with Netanyahu and Trump right now. But again, I can't, you know, we can't time this news. So, you know, sometimes you're going to be in a trade, they release news. Sometimes it might benefit you in your trade. Sometimes it might cause you to go and draw down. It might even get you stopped out. You can't control that. All we can control was when we started the call, we said we can only control our risk when we're trading. Okay, so it's still in this consolidated zone. It's still in maybe forming that double bottom. But if this can accumulate, this could be a good move later today, okay? One bottom. There's the big neckline up there. Coming down, all of this, if this can kind of be a second bottom, coming back here, closing, maybe a retest here, and then we come up, we fill up to there, we could be getting a nice push to the upside if it could continue to build here. If we lose this zone, then it could definitely continue to push down to maybe the 200 EMA, maybe down into here. Okay, and then that might be also a good opportunity to look for a pullback buy on US 30. Okay, so that's that 20% is stopped out. I just got stopped out of gold right there. So that 20% that I had remaining is stopped out right there, okay? I should have scaled out at that red zone up there, at least taken out my 10%, left 10% running, but I didn't, okay? So shit happens. You got to know what you're doing with runners as well. I let that runner run to see if gold was going to continue to be bullish all day today, but it got stopped out right there. But I'm happy. I'm thankful that I grabbed the 80% out and just want to see if US 30 can continue to build. So this, I'll be in this trade possibly after this call. And hopefully maybe we can continue to close above here, build off of this, and continue to the upside. And careful with all of this news today, okay? And don't forget, guys, also Powell testifies, he's speaking at 10 a.m. today, 10 a.m. This is also big. So adding more volatility to today's price action. After Wall Street opens at 9:30, 30 minutes later, 10 a.m. Eastern, Fed Chair Powell testifies right here, red high impact folder. Okay, so be careful at that time too with everything going on around the markets right now. Just trade with proper risk management, guys. That's all I can say. But okay, so we're going to call it a call right now. Guys on Zoom, you guys go grab yourselves a coffee, take a break, and Dave will be back in 15-20 minutes, and then you guys can resume going into 10 a.m. Yeah, Trump really did say the F word. Yep. Yeah, he said it's all over the news right now. The guy's a maniac. But yeah, it's funny, guys. But have a good day today, guys. Trade safe, trade smart, and use proper risk management. And we'll see you guys. Have a great day today, and join us. Leave us a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys again on YouTube and Zoom. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, same time. Let's have some fun tomorrow, and who knows what the news is going to be tomorrow, okay? We still have a full day ahead of us, but just trade smart, guys. I had fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day today. Thank you, everyone.
Recording stopped.
Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Number Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.